I might surprise many people, but not everyone expects realism from farming simulator. Some players just want to relax at their computer and enjoy unrealistic machines like a 50-meter plow or a forage harvester that digs up beets. And this video is made just for them. Remember, it's just a game and everyone has the right to play however they want. Let's start with this gigantic 50-meter machine that breaks all the laws of physics. In reality, it would probably snap with a slight turn, and by the time we got to the field, we'd only have half of its length left. But this video isn't about physics, it's about unrealistic mods. The machine comes in two color variants, red and green. It may seem like just a cosmetic choice, but the red model is a cultivator, while the green one is a plow. Interestingly, it functions like a plow, even though the store description says it lacks that feature. But let's not get caught up in details. What matters is that it works. The only thing I would change is the maximum working speed, which is 30. That might sound like a lot, but since the machine itself isn't realistic, it could definitely work even faster. Before you ask, there are no collisions, so you won't hit anything along the way. However, you do need to be careful on the field, because if you enter a neighboring field, even if you don't own it, the machine will still start working. The next modification is for lazy players, and I don't mean people who just don't want to harvest cotton. I mean that practically anyone could modify a harvester like this without much technical knowledge. I'm including it in this video because I couldn't find anything more interesting for unrealistic cotton harvesting. It's a crop that many players skip because harvesting takes too long. The mod itself isn't too impressive because it doesn't enlarge the tank. The cotton just disappears in a magical way. It's also a shame that the creator didn't set the working speed to the maximum, but instead limited it to 18, which is quite odd. When I play Farming Simulator outside of recording episodes, I usually try to stick to realism, but vegetables, I would never grow them realistically because it takes way too much time and is just plain boring. Most players I've talked to feel the same way. That's why I think many people will like this mod. It's ultra unrealistic. Normally, a forage harvester is used for making silage, not for digging up carrots and other vegetables. But this machine can harvest not only carrots, but also sugar beets and potatoes. I have to admit, it looks pretty funny. Carrots fly through the pipe into the trailer as if they were chopped silage. The color is also amusing. You might recognize it because it's a modified class forage harvest. Unfortunately, you can't change the color, and personally, I don't like it. The original looks much better. If the creator was already playing with colors, it would have been great to let players customize it to their preferences. Sadly, that option is missing here. The next modification is very similar in functionality to the previous one, but this time it's aimed at players who don't like harvesting sugarcane or poplar. Interestingly, once again, we're dealing with a forage harvester, but this time, instead of a vehicle, it's a customized header designed for harvesting these crops. Just like with the previous mod, I think the color scheme is poorly chosen, and unfortunately, you can't change it either. In terms of functionality, I think harvesting sugarcane with the forage harvester looks much more realistic than digging up carrots. What's even more interesting is that even though this is an unrealistic mod, if you pour silage additive into the harvester, it won't be consumed when harvesting sugarcane or poplar. Honestly, I was surprised that the creator thought of this. In one of my previous episodes, where I showcased mods available on all platforms, I already showed a stone picker that was twice the size of the base model. But today I have something much more interesting and, as a result, even more unrealistic. This machine is over 5 times larger than the standard one. What's more, the creator put a lot more effort into it. They didn't just increase the working width. You can configure many elements such as the color of each part of the machine or the capacity of the stone tank. The most interesting feature of this mod is the ability to configure it to function as a plow at the same time. This means that in a single pass, you can simultaneously plow the field and collect stones. Obviously extremely unrealistic, but it definitely makes the job easier. Interestingly, after passing over the field, it doesn't look like it has been plowed. It looks more like a stone harvest because right behind the plow blades, there's a pickup system that levels the terrain. However, for a brief moment after passing through, you can see the plowing texture. So even though the mod is unrealistic, I'd say it deserves a 10 out of 10. The next modification on the list is a pack of headers, which doesn't require much discussion. In terms of appearance, everyone knows what these headers look like because they are the original models from the game. However, they have been modified in terms of functionality. You can choose between the standard working width or an unrealistic one. Unfortunately, it works the same way as the cotton harvester. The invisible header collects the crop. But let's remember, this isn't about realism. It's about fun, and I know there are people who will enjoy this mod. Additionally, the working speed has been increased, but just like with the cotton harvester, it hasn't been set to the maximum. All headers allow you to work at a maximum speed of 25, which is 15 faster than the standard version. Since we now have massive headers, it's only logical that the combine tank will fill up faster, meaning we'll need to empty trailers more frequently. That's where the next modification comes in. A seemingly ordinary trailer that you also know from the base game. In this case, its capacity has been changed, and in the largest configuration, it can hold up to 500,000 liters. There's something for everyone, as there are multiple capacity options to choose from. To make it more interesting and to help differentiate it from the standard version, the creator also added more color options. In the base game, you can paint it in 3 colors, but here, pretty much every possible color variant is available. It's great that the modder put in the effort and didn't just change a single line of code. With more colors and capacity options, there's nothing to complain about. The next modification confirmed my belief that many players enjoy unrealistic mods. It also dispelled any doubts I had about whether making a video about them was worth it, because this mod has, believe it or not, a whopping 250,000 downloads. Yes, you heard that right. Exactly 270,000 at the time of recording this video. I'm talking about Universal Autoload. Some might say I've already showcased an autoload mod on my channel, but that one was mainly aimed at console players. However, if you play on PC, this modification is definitely the better choice because, as the name suggests, it's a universal solution. Instead of being a separate trailer, it's a global feature that adds autoloading to all trailers, making it much more convenient. Thanks to this, you can automatically collect not only bales, but also pallets, big bags, and even logs. It's absolutely incredible, so if you enjoy cutting trees, but don't want to deal with loading them afterward, you're going to love this mod. With the mods I've covered so far in this episode, we've covered harvesting almost every type of crop, but we can't skip one of the most popular plants in the game, and one that brings a lot of joy to me and many other players. I'm talking about silage corn. In this case, we also have a header, but this time it's not just an invisibly enlarged model. It's an actual 15 meter wide header, which is over 50% larger than the biggest one available in the base game. Now, it might not seem all that unrealistic. If anyone has ever seen one this large in real life, be sure to drop a comment. Either way, this header will only slightly speed up corn harvesting since its working width is increased, but its speed remains standard, just 10, as is typical for forage harvesters. One small downside is that the color you see cannot be changed. You can attach it to any harvester, but color-wise, it really only fits John Deere models, and even then, it doesn't look particularly great. The next mod is interesting not just because of its functionality, but also because of its form. Even though it's a mod pack with a massive number of machines, it comes as a single large file rather than multiple separate ones, which honestly surprised me. In fact, this entire episode could have been dedicated solely to this mod, as it contains a ton of unrealistic machinery. The biggest downside, however, is that only functionality has been changed. The models themselves remain standard. That said, it's worth mentioning that the creator added the ability to paint vehicles and machines in any color, though not for all of them, but for a lot. Even more interestingly, pallets have also been modified. If you can now pour 32,000 liters of liquid into a sprayer, why bother clicking through those small containers when you can just buy 3 10,000 liter barrels instead? So if you want to run a completely unrealistic farm, this pack is the perfect starter kit. And if you prefer realistic mods, I've also made a video about them. It's popping up on your screen now. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more awesome mod showcases. See you soon.